Hey guys, welcome to Serious Laughs. This is episode 15. What's wrong with being young and beautiful? Self-love is an act of sisterhood.
This show is all about our relationship with our self-esteem.
Hey you guys, my name is Molly. My husband is a fixed-wing pilot and a Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and I'm very proud of him.
I'm Sheri, and I am almost an empty nester. That is surreal because I'm still 21.
I know. How did you make that happen? You know what? Magnus, who is 14, was asking me about that the other day because we saw an ad or something or a commercial where it was like the woman, the parents weren't empty nesters and like the realtor was handing over new keys or something like that. And he's like, I bet you're going to be happy for that day. And I was like, actually, no. I will probably bawl my brains out. I know exactly how it's going to go. And it's going to be like that quiet in the house. I remember my mom saying that after both of us kids were out of the house, me and my brother. She was like, there was just this quiet that came over the house and I couldn't, it took so long for her to get used to it. So while I'm proud of you for the children you've raised, I feel for you. But
Thank you.
You're you and and I'm me. I don't know. We'll have to have an episode about that when it happens.
We will have to have an episode about that, navigating that terrain, because that is a relationship in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And just like all relationships, it's bittersweet. There's good and bad. I remember when I dropped off my son at the airport. I'm sorry, when I went back to the airport after dropping my son off at college, and I bawled. I was just, how did you go from being like in my womb to being, like all these quick snapshots?
Yeah,
getting off topic, but I was able to. I was still able to do it because I still had another one at home. So we can't even have the episode because it hasn't happened. It's 5 months away.
Who knows? You might be throwing a fucking party. I don't know what's going on. We love your little one. We love you.
I don't know. I just,
knows?
Right now having a 17-year-old son for me is like having a really sweet, well-behaved cat.
Oh,
he's just there and he comes out for his little milk in a saucer. I don't know why Child Protective Services keep calling me. I don't know.
That's interesting. It's just the milk you're feeding him these days, huh?
What's wrong with the little breast milk? Anyway, go.
Oh my God. That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about breast milk from the postmenopausal trenches.
Oh my God. Well, we're talking about I love it. Well, what's wrong with being young and beautiful? What's wrong with being old and beautiful? All of it, all the years,
all ages,
the relationship with our self-esteem. Because in this article you wrote, you even talk about how like you had that as a 20-year-old, you didn't have the self-esteem that you have today, but today you don't have all the self-esteem either. So it's like it could happen at any stage of your life.
Yeah, there's this myth that we'll get it when we arrive at a certain age, but it is a myth, Molly, because if you want self-esteem, that's something you have to cultivate if it wasn't given to you.
Right.
And it has to be a proactive choice. It can't just.
And it has to come from you. It can't come from outside sources either,
Yeah. Excellent.
And that's hard to do. So the big question I want to kick off with is, what if we chose to embrace our awesomeness right now? That's the big question for anybody listening, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. What if you choose to embrace that like right now? What happens?
And what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because we tend to think that has to be something so huge, and that could cause fear to come in, which freezes us and prevents us from going for it. And we kick the can down the road. We say, okay, I'll go for what I really want tomorrow. And we talked about this before the podcast, but I think our listeners need to hear this. There was some psychic who, medium, I don't know the difference, who recently said when she talks to the dead, the one thing that they all say is they regret that they held back. And to me, whether or not you believe in life going on or not, it makes sense that that's the way they would feel. And so the fact that you can hear this, you're alive, maybe this is your moment to embrace your awesomeness, even if you're terrified. Because I think there's this logic that we have of when. If I do it tomorrow, I'll feel ready to embrace the journey of my dreams. Not now. I'll do it tomorrow. You know what? My son, he has a thing after school. I'll do it. I'll do it next week. And then we don't feel good about ourselves because we've betrayed ourselves. Every time we do a show, the garbage truck comes.
We got to stop doing them on Mondays.
I guess that's what it is. So get the trash out of your head. Just take it out. But I think it's like baby steps. It could be something as small as, I like my smile. Or, I like my earlobes. Or like literally small, or something small like that stranger smiled at me. That was nice. Or proactively saying, I'm going to smile at that stranger.
Yeah. Yep.
Because ultimately that's what it means to be awesome, is to proactively work on feeling good about yourself from within by taking action every day to choose how to reframe your perceptions.
Yes, and I think what you said, I like the word proactive, because when you do this, when you smile at a stranger or you hand a compliment to somebody, when you genuinely mean it, boy, does that make you feel good. And that just, it's just like it's a cyclical, it's a cycle. And if somebody pays me a compliment or smiles and said, good morning, how are you today, sunshine? Oh, that just lit a little flame in me, and I'm going to pass that along to somebody else. Yeah. It's a continuous. So I like the proactive word, and that does build up your self-esteem when you know that you're making somebody else happy, making somebody else smile.
Yeah, because we remember we're all connected. And when we play small, we're actually keeping light away from each other.
Yeah.
It sounds counterintuitive, but it really...
Oh, yeah, share the love.
Yeah. Why are you hiding who you are from us? That's not fair. That's selfish.
So, yeah. And then I can like turn the tables with, my son is 14. He's very much introverted too. So I can see even when it happens to him, where he's got something that made him feel good, and in his own way, the way I know he's feeling good about himself and enjoying his day or his time is that the kid just doesn't stop talking. And he's normally very quiet. So when he's just a blabbermouth, I'm like, you're having a good day, ain't you? I can tell. Mom knows. I know you're having a good day. Or, oh, Mom, this, like, okay, so last night I made dinner, and I didn't like the texture of it. And so of course I had to say that. The taste is pretty good, but the texture is just weird. You might want to add stuff to it. And Magnus was having a good day. He was spending time with his dad after Zach got home. And he's like, no, Mom, I really like the texture. I think it's great. It's really tasty. I'm going to have a second bowl. I'm stuffed, but I'm having a second bowl. And I'm like, okay, he's feeling good. He's feeling good right now because it's just okay. The food's not great. You know what I mean?
Oh, you landed on something so powerful. It is continuous. It's contagious. We are energy. And it's why when you're falling in love, You're like, oh my God, those trees are so beautiful. Did you see those trees?
True.
Oh my God. So there was traffic, but like it was so interesting to look at all the people in traffic. My
That is
taxes are
so true.
due, but I mean, I kind of like the organization behind taxes. Like all of a
That's
sudden,
That's
everything
what it's
is rainbows and
about.
unicorns.
That is true. When you're having a good day, everything, it could be whatever it is. It's just like it's okay.
Yeah.
And then when you're not, it's like it's a game changer. That's really true.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And to know we can choose a new moment. We always can.
Yeah.
We can always say, okay, I want to do this again. And it might be harder if there's momentum going, but we can usually feel it too. Like if I do this, I know I'm stepping into a different energy field and it doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the choice to make the change
At any
and the
time.
attitude at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to tell about this, the story that happened when you and a younger woman had this exchange at the store recently.
Oh,
This will kick
yeah.
off kind of this conversation. Yeah.
So this girl was the kind of beautiful that happens when we're that young peach on the vine or the tree or the branch. I don't know where peaches grow. They're not growing in the supermarket, but they definitely grow in nature. And you know how like you get the peach fuzz on the skin? Like she was young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she had these fingernails that were just works of art. It looked like something from, the Museum of Modern Art. They were like that opalescent color with the little bows, just gorgeous. Okay. So I told her, I was handing her my credit card and I said, oh, I love your nails. They're beautiful. And I saw my younger self in her. And what I mean by that is the compliment took her breath away and she didn't know what to do with it. I could see she felt uncomfortable. And she immediately used this word, just. Oh, it's just my birthday. That's why I would never treat myself like, no, like it was just because it was my birthday that I got these special nails. This would not happen. And I said, well, you don't need to have an excuse to look beautiful. You are beautiful. Just embrace it. And she said, you know what? You're right. I had a boyfriend who told me I shouldn't spend money on myself like that it was being selfish. So thank you. I needed to hear that. And I saw her posture change. She sat up a little, stood up a little bit taller. And I think in a way, talking to her, Molly, was like talking to my younger self.
Sure.
And we all have that ability to do that for each other as women and men too. I mean, I don't know how much men struggle with this as women do. And I can't say because I've only been a woman in this spin of the earth. But, this idea of planting seeds in ourselves and others that you are worthy, that you do deserve love, that you do matter, that you are beautiful, as you said, Molly, at any age.
Yep.
And it feeds, just like you said so beautifully about the energy, that too, the words we use have energy. So if we want to create an energy of empowerment, an energy of excitement, an energy of openness, an energy of kindness, it starts with planting those seeds in each other.
And so why do you think it is we do that, right? So you and I have done the same thing too. You get a compliment. Oh, it's just this old lipstick. Oh, you look really nice today. Oh, this, I got it at Goodwill. It was $4. I mean, I say that all the fucking time. As if like, why am I down? Now, why is it that feel like we have to downplay it? Is it, do we don't want to look too into ourselves or, what did I write down here? Yeah, we don't want to look conceited, or we're trying to make we don't want the other person to feel bad. I don't know why it is we do that.
I think it's potentially all of those reasons. I think particularly for women, we have been taught, it's in our, almost like in our DNA at this point. Like we catch these meme viruses. We were so worried in 2020 about COVID, but I think the bigger worry is the fear virus. And with women specifically, it's, I was just talking with a friend recently who told me that she almost was raped and murdered by some kind of serial killer, and it didn't happen. That's like a whole nother show.
Oh my God.
And I can't reveal who it is because, well, I'll let that person come forward if they want to share that. But yeah, but I can share the story without revealing the person's identity. I literally just had this conversation this weekend. She said, this gentleman kept coming into the diner. And she was 16 years old. She was in high school. It's her first job after school. And she didn't get a good vibe from him. And he gave her his card, and she said she kept laughing him off because she was taught, and she's in her 50s, she was taught to be polite, be a good girl.
Yeah.
There it is. This girl that I complimented with her nails, what did she say? Well, my ex-boyfriend said that I was being selfish by treating myself.
Yeah.
And we have to support each other and say, no, step into the light. Step into the light. The light being you and me, the light being without the ego playing such a strong force in our lives. We want to be kind to ourselves. And I remember when I was 16 myself, and if someone gave me a compliment, even into my 20s and early 30s, I had a really hard time accepting the compliment. I had to justify it, just like that girl with the nails. Like you said, Molly, it's just my sweater. It's just, God forbid I took a compliment as thank you. And I started to do that in my mid to late 30s, probably. I started doing the thank you. It felt foreign. It felt like I was putting a shoe on the wrong foot spiritually. Like, it just feels weird. Like it felt like I was writing with my non-dominant hand. Like, wait, what? But I kept doing it. And I encourage everyone listening who struggles with taking a compliment. If you're having a hard time taking a compliment, that's a problem. And I know, because I was once you. And it's a habit. And you can change that habit. We are more malleable than we think. And keep wearing the shoe on the wrong foot, so to speak. I dare you today to take a compliment. You will get one this week. Someone will say something nice. Maybe it'll be about your backpack. Maybe it'll be about your boobs. I don't know. And you say, thank you. Oh, by the way, back to the boob comment. If you don't, let's change that. Because if we're 30th laughs. No, if someone says, nice boobs, and it's like your boss or whatever, inappropriate, you know what I'm talking about. You
step into the light.
You step into the light and say, that's not appropriate. Because part of having self-esteem is knowing boundaries. It's heeding your intuition. It's speaking up in the uncomfortable, knowing it's uncomfortable, but knowing it needs to be said.
True that.
And you do not need to become old like me at 21 to have this. No, I'm 51. You do not need to get into your 50s to have this realization. And that can we put up that one of the
Sure.
quotes we have? Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, darling. Oh, SJ, who could that be? Um, so, so the girl I met at the, when I was checking out with the beautiful nails, who had to justify it with that word just. I call it the age of possibility. It's those early chapters of life when we feel wet behind the ears and we're unaware of our power. But I want to make a caveat here. While that's more common in our 20s when we're that ripe peach, I do believe it can continue on into your 30s, 40s, and 50s if you don't address the core issue, which is low self-esteem, not being aware of how awesome you are. Like age is not an indicator of your worth, of your self-esteem. Right. And we tend to think, oh, well, it'll happen when you get older. You see so many women. My mom has a friend who just constantly puts herself down. She looks like a walking comma. The sky is always falling. Her outer world is a reflection of her inner world. So she's in her late 70s and she still has yet to find the self-esteem. And then you see girls in their 20s with self-esteem. So age is not a guarantee of self-esteem. But I wanted to ask you, Molly, can you on some level relate to that young woman with the word just?
Oh, totally. And still to this day, find myself doing it. I've gotten better at, if somebody were to give me a compliment, I can thank them. But yeah, there's so many. I don't even know where to begin, Sheri. Honestly, there's so many situations where it's just a lot of it has to do. The biggest one for me is, as I've mentioned before, is I grew up a real chubby kid, reached my peak weight at age 15, and then decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't like the way it made me feel. And for me personally, decided to change my eating habits and start exercising. My mom and I would go do step aerobics together, which was amazing. So then as I started losing weight, we've talked about this before, then I started getting more attention, and especially in college from boys, which had never happened before. That was all new to me. And I didn't. So even that specifically today, while I very much still have to watch what I eat and still have to exercise because it just takes a lot of work for me personally with my metabolism, all that stuff to just stay where I am. If I get it, it's always, oh, it's just because I'm tall. Everything just stretches out. I got it easy because I'm tall. And I'll still say that to this day, which does bother me because I do have to work really hard. It does not come easy, unfortunately. But I'll even say, oh yeah, I was a real chubby kid. People will go, no way. Yeah, dude, I really was. So that's my main hang up. And I don't like that it still happens. So I guess I'll make this today. What is it today? It's the December 9th, 2024. I'm 45. How about Malls starts changing that narrative? I make an oath. My right hand is raised to start just taking the compliment. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. And if anybody else is out there, whatever it happens to be, I'm sure there's repeating things that people hear. And the thing you always talk about, Miss Sheri, is you're a very stunning woman and you're 51. Praise hallelujah. And you look amazing. And it's that thing where you're like, I look amazing for my age. And then you always will throw a little caveat in there. I know you do that all the time.
Thank you for calling me on it. Yep. That's something. And I'm glad we're putting it out there for everyone. We're showing like we know what to do, but we're right there with you.
I'm not doing it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Do as I say, not as I do, I guess.
Right. Take my advice. I'm not using it.
Take my advice. And I just have to backtrack to the one thing we were talking about with the girl with the nails, and I just did it for my birthday. Why not just do it because it makes you feel good? You know? Like
yes.
When I do my nails, I feel good. It helps my self-esteem.
Okay.
In the age of, there's so much we could talk about. Just
Oh
do it
my
because
God,
it
I
makes you
love
feel
you.
good.
Okay.
Oh, I
Molly,
love you.
you're my self-esteem partner. You know,
Okay.
people go running.
Yep.
What is it today? December 9th,
Yep.
2024.
What you gonna do?
I am going to embrace being beautiful without caveats.
There you
Because I
go.
do. I've gotten better at, someone will say you're beautiful and I'll say thank you. You know, I'm very good at
Okay.
that. So I've
Okay.
gotten better at, whoops,
Oh.
my earpiece fell. I've gotten better at that. But as far as, so receiving compliments, because I've practiced that for years, making a
Mm-hmm.
point, but what's left is still the underbelly of justification. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it comes from, like, it's funny, like you said, that was like being a chubby kid, and I want to
Uh-huh.
reframe that for you for a second.
Okay.
And please reframe it for me, what I'm going to share with you. So
Okay.
my thing came from childhood. And my dad, who has since passed on, and I love him, would tell me, "You're so beautiful." And he did something unhealthy. He would compare the three daughters. He'd say, "Well, Sheri, you're the pretty one. This one's the smart one. This one." And I always wanted to be smart, and my sister always wanted to be like me, pretty.
Oh.
And I had to wear glasses early on, and he would say, "Oh yeah, it was so damaging, so damaging." And so I remember just specifically a few times that stand out where I'd come to the breakfast table and I'd be wearing glasses, and he'd say, "You know, you're a beautiful girl, beautiful woman, but when you wear those glasses, that takes away your beauty," or something to
Oh
that effect.
no,
And so
Dad.
to this day, I have a problem. I'm aware, and I've known this for decades. And thankfully, my vision's almost 2020. But as you know, Molly, like, I have a thing with putting on my readers.
You do.
I
I didn't
do,
know that's where
because
that came from.
oh yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
you have the exercise thing. So
Yes.
we do this program, guys, not because we're on some high horse. We do it because we want you to know that we're right there with you in this earth school. We're working on all of
Yeah.
our stuff, but we're doing it in front of you.
I got a hemorrhoid. Do you?
Oh my God. I don't have a hemorrhoid. I have plenty
I
of
actually
other
don't
things.
either. I know,
Oh,
me
okay.
too.
I know. I have blue balls, but anyway.
Wait, that's for another episode. Holy hell.
I can't be late for
Okay,
my
that's
proctologist. No.
so interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. It's really, whew. So yeah, he would
Oh.
always say things like that. And it probably wasn't said more than a handful of times, but you
Mm-hmm.
remember. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
take a lot. And for a long time it wasn't, and I didn't think I was intelligent either. Like
Oh sure. Because he had
because
already pinpointed someone as being the smart one. So I
right.
got you. Oh
Yeah.
man.
And later in life he told me he was proud of me and he thought I was smart. And I'm like, "Meow? I'm smart? You called me a flake growing up." Um, and I would play that role for him because I wanted
Uh-huh.
his approval. And so I was
Yep.
like flaky Sheri, and I played that role so well. And it wasn't until much later in life, like early 40s, that people would say, "Oh, she's smart. She's smart." I'm like, "I am?" because
What?
I was told, you know, if you're told something. I went for my master's, and I remember in college someone said, "Why aren't you going for your PhD?" And I lied to myself, guys. I
Hmm.
said, "Because I want to start making money, and I want to I want to teach, I want to get out there." No, the real reason was because I didn't think I was smart enough. And I would
Hmm.
think, I remember thinking they're going to find out what a dumbass I am, and I'll
Oh.
be humiliated. I had this image like,
Mm-hmm.
you get a PhD, you get a PhD. I wouldn't even know where to begin with you. But you're pretty, so it's like, so,
Thanks.
and so then why would I wear glasses? Because as soon as I wear the glasses, I could still see my dad saying, "You're a pretty girl, but not so much when
Not with the
you."
glasses.
Yeah. And he didn't mean it. Like, I could objectively say that. So I'm going to reframe for everyone Molly's thing, December 9th. So when you were telling me how you wanted to get back in shape, and you were determined to do it, to start getting in shape when you were 15, I'm thinking, what a powerhouse. What an amazing, determined spirit.
Aww.
It would have been so easy for you to just, like go back to the chips and just say, "This is me." But you were like, "No, fuck that shit. No, I'm going to do this." And it is fucking hard. It is fucking hard. And no, it's not because I'm tall. In fact, you know what? That's even more of a challenge, because now I can't blend. Now you see me. And so I say, fucking embrace how beautiful you are, how tall you are, how elegant, how kind. Like, you're the full fucking package.
Oh,
and it's so
Sheri,
easy
thank you.
if you, oh my God, like, yeah, no, it's so easy if you just accept, like, we discount, that's what I'm trying to say. We discount all the hard work. Like, you did so much fucking work to get where you are. It's so easy to say, "Yeah, I've always been like, I don't have to think about it. I'm just thin." But you're like, "No, bitch. I'm happy that you don't have to work for it, but I do. I did. I will. And I'm still here."
Yeah.
I mean, and she's
thank you.
stunning for those listening. I mean, Molly is just like hot. Yeah. Embrace it.
Okay.
Embrace it. So yeah, so if you reframe
thank
it
you.
like, holy crap, I'm a badass.
Aw.
I
do have to remind myself sometimes. I mean, that was fucking 30 years ago that I started, right? Oh my God. And I did go on a run today outside, and I don't want to do it every day, but more and more these days, it's not necessarily just for, it's more mental health even. And I think you and I talked about that before. At this age, it's like, okay. And I want to be able to get out of bed when I'm older, I like move. And so anyway, well, I appreciate that.
I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Everyone listening, think about if you're struggling with a self-esteem issue, first become aware of it. Where did it start? And most of us could say it started in childhood.
And then what can you do? Like, can you get your nails done? Is that going to help? Can you get your hair done? Is that going to make you feel good? Is getting whatever it is, because there's even days when I feel like shit and I don't like myself or whatever it is, and I tell myself I'm going to get up and I'm going to for me personally, I'm going to bike ride or run or whatever, something little, and I'm going to dress up. I'm going to put on really nice clothes today, just for me. And it's not to go out there and get a compliment from anybody. It's just because putting on those clothes or getting the nails done is going to make me feel better in this day.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's self-love. I mean, it's talking to yourself the way you would want your best friend to speak to you. "Hey, Molly, you're a badass. I love how much you've done. I love that you get yourself up every day and put effort in." And for someone who has a hard time even getting out of bed, you got out of bed. You did
there you
it.
go. That's a win.
Exactly.
That's a win.
And that's beautiful. And that's what we're talking about today. The relationship with yourself, embracing who you are and where you've come from. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable to get that compliment, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, if you hear criticism in your head, that's when you have to even do it more. lean into it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we bring up this other slide we have here?
Sure.
What is this one?
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether you're young or old, at some point, well, for all of us, if we're lucky, time passes, right? We get tired, and we get tired of using words like just and because to make ourselves fold in like a walking comma. And we do that. You don't need to wait for time. I think one of the gifts of getting older, Molly, is realizing no one's getting out of here alive.
Right.
And so do you want to keep living like a comma? And you might not look like it with your shoulders hunched, but I'm talking like spiritually. I was in a relationship with a man, and we ended it amicably. Couldn't have ended nicer. You know, we even made a joke, well, this is adulting. And it really came down to we wanted different things. Good person, but we weren't compatible. And, you know, you could love someone and know that they're still not for you. And I think had I met him in my 20s, I would have ignored. This is what I get now in my 50s. When I don't like something, I feel like my soul is shrinking. That's the best way I can describe it.
Did we just have that episode last week where you get that feeling of that icky feeling and you're like, this is not good for me? You just know it's an ick.
Yes.
It's not good for the soul. I swear that was last week. I'm starting to lose count.
Maybe it was. Well, it seems to be a theory, a theme. Like, but when you're young, you feel the ick and you're like, oh, well, that's nice. Let's go for pizza. You know, you ignore it. It was always there. But for some reason, you get very particular. You start paying more attention to what, you know, what works and what doesn't work, what feeds your soul and what doesn't. And when you have self-esteem that you're working on, you start paying more and more attention to, did that fill me up or did that drain me? And when I looked at this relationship, oh yeah, did that fill me up or did that drain me? And when it came to this person who I love and always will, and he feels the same way, it was like, are you willing to compromise? Are you willing to? And for some people they would, some people they wouldn't. But I had to honor the way it made me feel inside.
Yeah.
Even though that meant, wow, this is scary. This, you know, I don't know what's going to happen now. Like I could end up being alone for the rest of my life, and I have to be okay with that. And I am, because I made the choice I did. I'm okay being alone. Than being with the wrong person. That doesn't mean I don't want companionship, but I want it with the right person. And that's a self-esteem moment. But I'm still, so it's honoring those wins, right? Like, whoo, that was self-esteem. Whoo, I went for the bike ride. That was self-esteem. But it's also honoring, it's giving yourself compassion for when you aren't ready to push through your comfort. Like, you know what I mean? We all, it's like, yeah, I'm still having my issue with the glasses. And that's okay. Yeah. I can still love myself. I still choose to love myself. I still matter. That you can still have things that you need to work on. And that doesn't, we tend to think in black and white with low self-esteem. I call it Oreo cookie thinking. Oreo cookie thinking. It's like,
love it.
Well, I was good and I was bad. It's like, why can't you just be a human who makes choices, and some are better for you and some are not as good for you? And you could choose again. Like maybe next episode, I'll wear my glasses. Maybe I'll do it for 5 minutes. Maybe.
Exactly.
I mean, I can still see you. I can see you're a beautiful Indian man. It's fine. I don't need my glasses.
What are you talking about? I was hiding it from you the whole time.
No, you're a beautiful, beautiful man. Very kind. I want to put on this Mel Robbins quote.
Let us do it right now.
I love this. Okay, this book, Mel Robbins, I want to get this book. It's not ready. Now I can't stop. It's not ready till December 24th. And if you,
Ooh.
Mel Robbins, her podcast was just voted like it was number 12 on Spotify, and she was emotional, like really emotional with tears. And
What's her podcast about? Like, what does she focus
living
on?
your best life. From
Okay.
what I understand, she was having challenges in her own life, and then one day she was like, enough is enough. And so she was in the trenches, and now she gives tips on and she has all these guest speakers come, all in self-help. That's her thing. And just so you know, guys, I put it out in the universe. I wrote Molly this morning, or I don't even know, last night. I don't remember when I wrote you, but I said, we're going to have Mel Robbins on. We're putting it out in the universe. Let's do it.
We're going to tag her.
Yes. Let's tag her. She's going to say, that crazy woman who spoke in an Indian accent. Why would I want to be on that show with her? Because like, she's just weird. And that is not what happened to me. Why is she giving incorrect facts? Well, Mel, you'll have to correct me, but I love you. I love
it's like a train wreck. She can't not look away. She can't not look away. We're a train wreck, Sheri. That's what it is.
Well, we're a beautiful train wreck because we have self-esteem. Okay. So I'm going to try to do it in a Mel Robbins voice. Have you ever heard her voice?
Okay. No, I haven't. Let's hear it.
Oh, okay. Now, Mel Robbins, this is my imitation of you. I've never tried to imitate you before, but I'm going to try to imitate you now.
Okay.
By the way, she wears glasses and looks good.
I bet she does rock it. Okay, I'm going to count you in like you're doing.
Wait, let me wear glasses.
Wear your glasses. Oh, see. I'm going to put my glasses on too.
Really? Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, you're so cute.
You are cute too. Okay, here we go.
Mel Robbins glasses. Okay, so I'm good.
Do I? Okay. And 4, 3.
It's not your job to manage other people's emotions. It's their job. You're going to use the let them theory to stop yourself from managing other people, fixing other people, engaging in the old dynamics. You're then going to say, let me, and you're going to focus on your part in it. How do I want to show up? What is it that I want to lean into? And what am I going to opt out of?
Cut. Okay. One and done. I think I know who you're talking about now because you said my glasses look like her, and the way you spoke, I swear to God, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I know exactly who you're talking about right now. I know exactly who you're talking about. Job well done, Sheri. Okay.
Well, then we need to tag Mel Robbins so she can hear my imitation. She'll be like, "Oh, bitch, I don't sound like that." All right,
no, I'm gonna timestamp that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, Mel, all right, let's talk about having you on the show against your will. It's fine. Don't think about it. Anyway, no, I love this concept. It's really another form of surrender if you think about it. Yep. But it's this idea, it's the way she articulates it that like was a light bulb moment for me, and I think it will be for others. We tend to think what we do is so intrinsic to other people's happiness and vice versa.
Right.
And I think not only is that when you struggle more, but that's when conflict arises. That's also indicative of low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is it? It's fear that you can't trust the process. Fear that if you're not juggling all these things the way you need them to, it's just, you're constantly going to be dependent on the external for your worth and your value.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I love that. No, you're good. I love the top of this. It's not your job to manage other people's emotions. And I know we've talked about this too. And it's like that idea of not being, not taking things personally. Yeah, you're like, we're responsible for how we manage how we react, how we manage our emotions. And I like, I guess that sounds like a fucking fuck.
She sounds
Just like
like
how
a
she's a
fucking
fucking
fuck. Let's
fuck.
reframe that.
Do
Let's
we?
reframe. Let's reframe, sounding like
I'll
she
reframe it.
makes alliterations with curse words.
Words. I just I feel like I'm needing to sit in with this quote,
You
but I like how it
sit.
starts. It's not your job to manage other people, and it's not your job to do that. And when you start doing that, now you're dealing with your own self-esteem issues. You said that eloquently a second ago. So I love this. So go run out and get her book. The 24th.
Yeah,
do it.
the 24th. And I love that because I noticed, like, you know, I am divorced. I have 2 boys, and the older one comes home from college. And I've been practicing this without realizing I was doing a let them. I was calling it surrender, but it was, I love the way she phrased this. But, you know, he'll say, Mom, I'm going to be a dad, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, let them. You know, do I miss my son? Do I want to spend time with him? Yes. But I see it as like an opportunity for me to spend more time on my own when he chooses to go to his dad's. It's like, oh, I could keep working on a book I started working on. I can work on the podcast. I can meet a friend for lunch. I can get my nails done for no special occasion.
Oh my God. Full circle.
It's full circle. What did we do there? So yeah. And when you just I noticed so much energy is spent comparing what other people are doing and saying, can you believe she blah, 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 blah. I feel like gossip is a form of that low self-esteem, that idea that I'm not enough. I have to put someone down a few pegs to temporarily make myself feel better.
No, and that's the opposite. Make someone else feel good, and it's going to make you feel better.
Exactly. We need to run the world, but let it go at the same time, you know.
I don't want to go. Let it go.
But going back to that girl with the nails, she was like, she was still thinking about her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so
and
what he thought, well, he said that it was being selfish. And to anyone listening, I feel like this let them theory is so powerful in a way that we're not even aware of. And one of them that I'm starting to become aware of is even the thoughts we think. So your thoughts, you need to let yourself have them without taking action when these thoughts come on, because they will come on. I am going to hear the comments about my glasses. You're going to hear comments about your weight. The girl is going to hear her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, tell her you're selfish for getting your nails done every time she gets her nails. We're going to keep hearing it. But I love this concept, guys. Let those thoughts happen, because it's teaching you what you need to work on. We tend to want to go, that didn't happen. Nope. Or we rationalize, well, it was because of this, it was because of that, but I didn't mean that. And he didn't mean it when he said I was selfish. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You didn't like the way it felt. That's something you need to allow so it can shed you. You can go through the dark being the negative thoughts, to get to the light, which is self-compassion, self-esteem. So it's not just letting other people do whatever they want. It's letting the voices be spoken so that they can actually flood out of your system, kind of like a colon cleanse, a mental colon cleanse.
I like that. I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
I think so too.
Okay. All right. That's nice.
That was nice. I had a colon cleanse. Let me put my glasses on.
Okay, I'll put mine on too at the end. We'll do this.
Thank
You know,
you.
this makes me think of Jenna. Oh God, she's from The Office. I can't think of it. Jenna Fisher.
Oh,
The
I
actress
like
Jenna
her.
Fisher,
Yes.
and the I'm so sorry, the blonde lady who was also on The Office. They do a podcast together, and they talk about episodes on The Office. Well, Jenna Fisher was going. She, I believe, had breast cancer, and she didn't want to, like, make it known. So as she was going through chemo and everything, she started wearing a baseball cap, and then the other gal started wearing a baseball cap. So like nobody would ask questions. They just like did it together, and nobody had any idea. They're like
I
besties. It was so
love
sweet.
that.
I know, me too. Me too. So I wear my glasses with you.
So think about that. Thank you, Molly, for joining me.
You're welcome.
I want you guys to think about that. Maybe find a self-esteem buddy. We talk about running buddies, right? Exercise buddy and an account. So it's kind of, an accountability buddy.
That's a great
self-esteem.
idea. That's a great idea.
Thank
Have someone you can
you.
check in with and like just give it to you straight up.
Yeah.
I love this because I never get offended by anything you tell me
Same.
because you want the best for me. You know what I mean?
Always want the best for you. Always.
And me for you. So it's like, it's a good dose of mental medicine, self-esteem medicine.
Mental medicine.
Mental medicine. Side effects could include
Kindness, self-esteem, inner peace.
Who doesn't want that?
So come
Lord.
get
Okay.
mental medicine. Mental, emotional, colonoscopy not included.
Colon cleansing. See, now we would have ended really well, and then it just went down the shitter.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just teasing.
This is
That's what
improv.
it's all about.
Sometimes improv shit.
Hey, I promise we are like a fine wine, and we will continue to get better, guys. That is a wrap. Remember, when everything's going wrong, it just means you're crafting a great story. Stay tuned for more episodes where we turn life's lemons into laughable tales. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, and keep finding the best and the worst because life's too ridiculous not to laugh at it.